Welcome to Mt Shasta Escape. Today I'm going to check out Kashie Lake, Gumboot Lake, and some of the roads above Gumboot Lake on my Suzuki GSX-8S. I haven't been to Kashie Lake in a little while, so I'll be curious to see the snow situation up there. Seems like it's up pretty high, but I'm thinking like 53 or 54. I am getting more comfortable on this bike after that 250 mile a day I did not that long ago. It is really fun to ride on twisty mountain roads. Boy, the low end torque on this bike is amazing. I'm in third gear. I should have been in second or even first going around that corner, but dropped down a little bit under 3,000 RPM and chugged right through. I kind of discovered this on my that long 250 mile ride I took, but on mountain roads, third gear and fourth gear are really good, except the roads that are on there most of the time were a little higher speed than this is, although a few places weren't, which is why second gear, I'll go to second gear. A second gear cruise up here would give you a little better throttle control. You lug it down and you get under 3,000 RPM. Yeah, it'll pull there, but it, takes RPM to make horsepower. It makes torque just right off idle, but horsepower is just torque times RPM with a conversion factor. You got to rev it a little bit to get the power. But motorcycles with fairly high flat torque curves are fun to ride. This bike is that. It's fun to ride. Now, if you have your open class inline four-cylinder bikes like I used to, I had my Ninja 600, but that bike you had to rev the snot out of to get any power. On the other hand, my ZRX 1200s, they had so much displacement, they made tons of torque just right off idle too, and tons of horsepower up high. And then my Concourse 14 was, one of those, oh my, I think it's 156 horsepower at the crankshaft, 140 on the dyno at the rear wheel. Yes, I know there are bikes that make more than that. Go get your Kawasaki with that HP2 or whatever with 305 horsepower. That's total insanity. And most of your open class sport bikes these days are making around 200. You can't possibly use that kind of power unless you're on a fairly high speed, wide open racetrack. Maybe if you're in Germany and doing the Nürburgring or whatever, or maybe on the I can't even say it now. They're no speed limit highways, but one of the Kawasaki, what is it, a Ninja 1000 HP2 whatever, their supercharged bike has a top speed of 250 miles an hour. Even on those kinds of highways, that's just a little bit outrageous. If you're racing, you just go as fast as you can everywhere, but if you're just out here having fun and you don't have every corner memorized like you would on a racetrack, in slow, out fast, I mean, that's the fun way to ride mountain roads. In a little bit slow, you kind of see what you're getting into, and then you give it a little throttle coming out. That's fun. I put it back in third gear, not because second gear wasn't working well, it was working almost too well. It's encouraging me to go too fast. So lug it down a little bit so that power isn't quite so instant. Anyway, back to the sports car thing. I don't own a sports car anymore, but this motorcycle is the motorcycle equivalent of a sports car. Doesn't have 200 horsepower, doesn't have 100 horsepower, but man, what it's got is fun. Here's where being in second gear would have been kind of nice, but you know what? I still got that torque. It just pulls right through here. But when I'm in second gear, I suddenly find out I'm going a whole lot faster than I should be. A little lower RPM, not quite so much instant horsepower is not a bad thing. Back in the day, if I was riding with a couple, three friends on street bikes, and like some of them were, they were actually former road racers. you kind of had to be on your game a little bit to keep up with them. So I never road raced, but I have ridden with the road racers. I know how they ride, and I could generally hang with them. Now, you know, it's like everything else. You know, that's on public roads and public road speeds. On a racetrack, they would have kicked my butt. But they did enjoy their corners, and boy, could they rip through those corners, get some crazy lean angles, and encouraged me to try to do the same. Every now and then I'll say something stupid like, I've never crashed a street bike, and I haven't. Tip overs, yeah. I mean, a tip over is like walking speed, and you just, like what I did in my garage, I mean, but not a crash. A higher speed crash on a street bike could be very, very bad. I have crashed dirt bikes racing and going race speeds with my crazy fast friends. And boy, those really hurt. But even then, they're a lot lower speeds than what you're likely to get on a street bike. So don't crash street bikes. Ideally, don't tip them over either. But you know what? That kind of happens every now and then. What, I've got over 1,000 miles on this now, and I just had the one tip over, and I wasn't riding it. I was working on it, standing beside it in the garage. Oh, man. That shouldn't have happened either. You know, when I've got it in the garage now, I put a little bungee over the front brake as well as having it in gear, and yeah, won't happen again. And I'm just about to the lake, and boy, the snow around the edges here, pretty much gone. You still see it up there on the hillside, of course. But the question is, will the lake be clear enough to get to it? Oh, a lot of people here. I'm thinking it will be. Wouldn't see all these cars here. Yeah, that lake. Okay, yeah, we can come up here to the Grandchild. We're gonna have some temperatures like up in the 90 degrees midweek, this next week. This lake would be just delightful. Be a little higher, not quite as hot. Okay, glad I came up here to look. When I lived in Wisconsin, it wasn't like living in the mountains. I mean, you kind of, what do you do for excitement in Wisconsin? The racing was fun for me, but it was not fun for Joline. She went to most of the races with me, but it was just boring. Long day for her. Instead of doing that, we started spending our summers in Colorado. We were teaching, and so we would have the summers where we didn't have to teach. A lot of summers we did, but we stopped doing that. We have been writing books in the summers also, academic books, and we quit doing that also. We just started saying, okay, we're getting old. Let's have some years where we enjoy some things. And basically, when we started spending summers in Colorado, that was the end of it. I just quit racing. And part of that, we had so many fun things to do in Colorado. Boy, we were both very fit. Maybe not as fit as I was for bicycling and such, but man, we were doing backpacking and snowshoeing and backcountry skiing, you name it, all this stuff. Still doing things that required high levels of fitness. Just wasn't competition anymore. And I don't know, it's funny, I miss the competition still. I've always had that bug. I enjoy competition, but on the other hand, I know there's just no way physically I'm in shape to do anything like that anymore. But we still have a lot of fun. I'd say we're both still enjoying life. That street motorcycle ride I did that was 250 miles, Joline and I did that not quite a week earlier in our car. Took our dogs with us, stopped a lot of times. Just absolutely beautiful. We loved it. It was good. We really enjoy getting out in the mountains. We still do some hiking, but we don't do any really hardcore hiking like we used to. Hardest core thing we may do this summer, if the weather's right and we feel right, is try to climb up Mount Eddy again, and that's 10 miles round trip, and I don't remember, maybe 2,500 vertical or something, but it's relatively nice trail all the way up there, which is huge. Easier on joints and so forth. Still a big day, still gets us tired, but that would have been a really easy day for us 10 years ago. I'm even thinking 5 years ago, before my joints said no more. We were doing 16, 17 mile hikes with 4,000 vertical in them. Neither one of us can do that anymore, though. And that's okay. You go through phases in your life, and we're going through another phase. And we're both going to do everything we can to totally bypass that whole nursing home phase. No, thank you. So, melted a lot since the last time I was up here. At 6,083 feet. Yeah, that's the outlet for Gumboot Lake. Very pretty lake. I think it's, I don't know if it's as pretty as Castle Lake. It's close anyway. See what's over the... Nah, I don't want to go over there. Okay, so this road here is actually a continuation of Forest Road 26. That's what I was coming up all the way up here. I'm not sure what they call it, the Gumboot Lake. I made it up here pretty far the other day, so I'm guessing I'm guessing it could be all the way through. To the right's a dirt road that goes towards the Mount Eddy trailhead. To the left is the road that goes over towards Castle Craig. So I'm going to take a stop and just think about this. Oh, I see cars here. This may not be good. So my optimism could have been misplaced. At 6,400 feet though, so I don't know. It looks like it probably is gonna close up on me up ahead. That means probably going over to the Mount Eddie trailhead wouldn't work either. Is there any point in trying to go through here? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Oh boy, is there a track through here? Might be, but yikes. Oh man. The KLX would have enough clearance to either side to get through this, but this street bike a little wider, I might bog down. So yep, I'm done. So close though, yet so far. Well, I snowed out quick enough here. It leaves me a little bit of time that I could go over and take a quick look at that road, the dirt road, up towards the Mount Eddie trailhead, but I can't believe I would make it through that. Again, for street riding, I prefer this, but for the kind of stuff I saw just there, that KLX would let me go further. I'll never know how much further, but I certainly could have gone further. Yeah, I can see why these vehicles stopped. You're not getting through here on four wheels. That would just slide you right off the edge. Okay, here's my turn. I'm gonna go up just a little ways. I'm not sure just how far I'm gonna go on this. Okay, so it's a gravel graded dirt road. So I add this to my dirt road explorations, but this is kind of a major route. I'm just expecting it to climb pretty fast and get into snow again like that other road, but you don't know until you try. I think I'm already a little higher than I would have expected. Am I higher than I was where I snowed out over there? I'm probably pretty darn close to that high. I'm guessing the way this road is laid out, it's catching a little more sunlight. And I'm seeing the snow start up there, so yeah. I thought I would get stopped. Car stopped there, that implies I will be too. $6,527 feet. I see a single track going through there, so somebody on a dirt bike has been adventurous. Went over there into the ditch a little bit to make it pass, but not for me. Okay, 6539 is my elevation here. I'm not even gonna be all that late for lunch. I was gonna have to send Joline a text saying I was gonna be late, but I don't think I really have to now.